Coming up on DITV, see how Iowa students are remembering the Berlin Wall 30 years after its fall. And later, get the details on the new Iowa City area transit study and learn what might be changing in 2020.
Carver Hawkeye Arena is the place to be. With volleyball, men's basketball, and wrestling, where else can you get this much action? Stay tuned for the full rundown in sports.
We have some very cold temperatures coming up. Stay tuned for weather to know which days you'll want that winter coat.
All that and more coming up on this Thursday morning edition of DITV News. Don't go anywhere. DITV starts right now. Good morning and thank you for tuning in. I'm Noah Gowdy. This Saturday marks the 30th anniversary of the Berlin Wall falling. The Language and Media Center here at the University of Iowa has a unique exhibit to commemorate this historic event.
I'm the new director of the Language Media Center, and I have been wanting to do some cultural and creative programming that would bring all of the languages from the division together. And so when Professor Kumpf-Beil came to me and said that she wanted to commemorate the fall of the Berlin Wall by working with her students on some kind of creative project, I jumped right on it.
This year marks the 30th anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall, and what we've done here in the Language Media Center is created a mock wall where students have the opportunity to express themselves in the language of their choice. All the languages in Philipps Hall in some way were impacted by the divide of Germany between 1961 and 1989. And I feel that if we reflect on history together, we in turn are making history as one people.
All students are welcome to add to the wall, so if you want to make your contribution, make sure to drop over by Philipps Hall and grab a pen. Big changes could be coming to the Iowa City's public transportation system in the upcoming year. The Iowa City Council's strategic plan for the 2018-2019 year is calling for a major assessment of the current public transportation system to best serve the entire community. Bus routes, fares, and hours of operation are some of the major pieces of the current system that will be looked at under a microscope. The study is also coming in response to the recent Climate Action Plan, which hopes to switch 55% of vehicle trips to the more sustainable methods. And while I was walking here this morning to work, it was very cold outside, and I am not a fan of that cold weather. Let's toss it over to Claire in the weather studio to find out if this cold weather is going to be sticking around. Claire?
That is right, Noah, and unfortunately those cooler temperatures won't be going anywhere anytime soon. This morning we have sunny skies with a temperature of 23 degrees. Throughout the day, temperatures will rise to about 33 degrees before falling back down to the low 20s this evening. Kicking off the weekend, we will have partly cloudy skies, and it will be cooler with a high of 38 and a low of 27. If you're wanting to get outside this weekend, Saturday will be the best day to do that. We will have partly cloudy skies with a high of 52 and a low of 32. Closing out the weekend, temperatures will cool back down with a high around 40 and a low in the upper teens. Looking ahead into early next week, temperatures will fall, and you can anticipate a high in the 20s and a low under 10. So Iowa City, remember to bundle up and wear your winter coat in the coming days. Noah, back to you.
Thanks, Claire. Many students got a leg up against potential illnesses coming this winter by attending the University of Iowa Health Fair on Wednesday. The event was held at the UI Fieldhouse and was open all day to university students for free health screenings, cardiovascular risk assessment, and flu vaccines, which were among the many services offered to Hawks. Aside from the medical amenities provided, students could enter themselves in door prize drawings and giveaways throughout the entire event.
A lot of our different departments from the university, also within the community, come out here, showcase their resources, services that they offer, all in one location for people to enjoy.
Well, I'm glad everybody was able to get out to that fair and make sure they got their flu shots, because it's going to be a bad winter, and I know for one, I definitely got mine. But talking about people who are staying very healthy on campus are the Iowa women's volleyball team, who was in action yesterday at Carver Hawkeye Arena. Let's toss it over to Zach Lohman in the sports studio to find out how that game went. Zach?
Thanks, Noah. I forgot to get mine, but hopefully I'll get it later today. But just last night, the Iowa volleyball team was swept for the second time in a row last night by number 21 Illinois, pushing the team to 3-10 in Big Ten Conference play. Iowa fell in the first set after giving up their lead, but still kept the score within 2 points. The Hawks stayed strong until the Illinois offense came back to predict for the Hawks to make this handle. The second set kept fans on their toes as the two teams traded points until the very end when Illinois earned the set victory. The third and final set was another one up for trades until the Hawks lost both their offensive and defensive footing, dropping this set and giving Illinois the third set sweep.
Just working, it's always adversity that presents itself as you go into preparation for the next match. And, after the weekend, I just think the team is finding that they can work through things, and it's just the beginning stages of that. But it was a lot of good things to see here, just from defensively, and then just our passing line just really supporting each other.
Although this is Iowa's second loss to the Fighting Illini this season, there is still plenty of Big Ten play to come. The Hawks will take on Nebraska this Saturday here in Iowa City. And with even more action coming from Carver, this week we got an exciting first look at men's basketball team during their exhibition game. But tomorrow we'll finally get to see them in action when it counts. The Hawks will open up the regular season when they host SIUE Cougars. Here's what head coach Fran McCaffrey had to say about Iowa heading into their season opener.
They've got some guys that can really play. They've got athletes. They defend. And I think he knows that this is the kind of schedule you need to play to get them ready to compete in the OVC. I would do the same thing. You think you have a good team. I always thought we had good teams. You go on the road and you see how good you are. Can we defend? Can we rebound? Can we run? Can we stay true to who we are in terms of what we want to do offensively and defensively? And it gives you more information moving forward as to how good you can become.
We'll have highlights and more from that game on Monday. But the Hawkeye wrestling team kicks off their season a week from Sunday, and that means we're going to be previewing the team before their debut duel against Chattanooga. Now, last year, Iowa's Alex Marinelli had an unforgettable Big Ten championship when he finished in first place. But Marinelli would be the first person to tell you his performance at the national championships were a little disappointing.
I kind of let my axe go dull, in between Big Tens and Nationals. I won Big Tens, and so you got to look at it like, the job isn't done. It's got to be consistent every single match, finish single legs every single time I get there. And so if I don't, I got to go back to it. So.
Although he came a little short at Nationals, Marinelli dominated last season, going undefeated for the second year in a row during the regular season, going 9-0 in the Big Ten alone. So don't count him out just yet. Marinelli comes into the season ranked second, right behind Penn State's Vincenzo Joseph, who lost to Marinelli at the Big Ten Championships earlier this year. Jacob Warner is another name to look out for this season, and he also has some good things to say about his teammates, and maybe taking some shots at Alabama football.
Brings a little personality into the sport, into our team, because we have an odd team as far as individuals go. We have a bunch of weirdos on our team that I think that's why we work so well. We're all a bunch of weirdos that just kind of form together. So I was telling people that we probably have the best home schedule out of any sports team in the country, of any sport, at any school. So Alabama football doesn't have as good as a home schedule.
Okay, but Warner has a point. Iowa's home schedule this year features 5 out of the top 6 ranked teams in the nation. And with Iowa competing in all of those, all of the top 6 teams will wrestle in Carver Hawkeye Arena this winter. You can catch Marinelli, Warner, and all your favorite Iowa wrestlers as they take on Tennessee at Chattanooga on November 17th at Carver Hawkeye Arena. Well, that's all the time we have for you today, but tune in tomorrow to catch a little action from Iowa women's basketball and everyone's favorite Iowa football pregame show. Noah, back to you at the desk.
Thanks. A college student has found a way to take a bite out of his college debt with some entrepreneurial spirit. Jason Gonzalez out of Minnesota started making the 250-mile trip to Iowa in order to bring back carloads of Krispy Kreme donuts to resell to people in his hometown after the last store closed in Minnesota in 2008. After overwhelming support from his community, Krispy Kreme reached out to him and offered him a spot as an independent contractor so he could continue his business ventures in his hometown community. And that's all we have for you on this Thursday morning edition of DITV News. Be sure to head over to DailyIowan.com for all your latest news between Monday and Friday. If that isn't enough of the Daily Iowan for you, be sure to check out our print edition of the news on stands now. For DITV News, I'm Noah Gowdy. Have a great day, Iowa City.